Cyber warfare has become a major threat to global security, with attacks capable of crippling critical military defense and other infrastructure, amid accusation that China has conducted multiple cyber attacks on U.S. targets. The two countries are now moving towards signing the first ever deal of its kind for cyberspace. I-24 News correspondent Charles Bublazer explains.
It is perhaps the fastest growing modern-day battlefield. Cyberspace, with online digital attacks against critical infrastructure having the potential to bring even a superpower to its knees.
Cyber threats to U.S. national and economic security are increasing in frequency, scale, sophistication, and the severity of impact. These cyber threats come from a range of actors, including those with highly sophisticated cyber programs, most notably Russia and China.
Against this backdrop, Washington and Beijing are reportedly negotiating the first ever deal outlining the terms of engagement for cyber warfare. According to the New York Times, the U.S. would like China to embrace a code of conduct limiting attacks during peacetime. But this would fall significantly short of explicitly prohibiting espionage and intellectual property theft, which China has been accused of conducting.
We hope that the U.S. stops its groundless attacks against China, starts a dialogue based on a foundation of mutual respect, and jointly builds a cyberspace that is peaceful, secure, open, and cooperative.
The issue has strained ties between the world's two biggest economies. Most notably, Chinese hackers were implicated in the massive breach at the U.S. government's personnel office disclosed in July, which exposed the personal data of millions of federal employees. Similarly, a bilateral cyber working group was suspended by Beijing last year after Washington indicted 5 Chinese military officers for hacking U.S. computers. In response, President Barack Obama called last week for a global framework to prevent the internet from becoming, quote, weaponized, while warning of a forceful response to cyber attacks.
We are preparing a number of measures that will indicate to the Chinese that this is not just a matter of us being mildly upset, but is something that will put significant strains on the bilateral relationship if not resolved, and that we are prepared to take some countervailing actions.
In the past, Washington threatened to sanction Chinese individuals and companies that have been accused of hacking U.S. corporate databases. But the current talks could open the door for a rapprochement. An agreement could be announced as early as Thursday, when Chinese President Xi Jinping arrives in Washington for a state visit.